Yo, what is going on, YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we have some very, very big, but also very concerning and pretty disappointing news to talk about coming out of the LCS. Today I am actually in New Jersey. You know, I've been here for the past couple of days for the Worlds. I wanted to say LCS Finals, but it's for Worlds. And it's just kind of cool, you know, getting to record and check out another state, you know, check off the list another state that I've recorded a video in, which has just kind of been this funny little side quest we've been going on over the past couple of years. But things are going good. This is the first time I've ever been in the Northeast. But to the business at hand, usually, especially this time of the year, anytime that we have an Alejandro Gomis tweet to talk about or report on or whatever, it's usually really good news. It's exciting. It's interesting. These are the stories we're waiting for all year long. But unfortunately today, that is just not the case. He did tweet out today, at least the day that I'm recording this, sources, Riot is expecting to change LCS game days to mid-week. The LCS teams have already been informed of those plans, but it's not official. The LCS will probably be played on Wednesday and Thursday. Specific days have not been communicated yet. Now, this is a little bit interesting because it's already October. I don't know when I expect stuff to be finalized for the next season, but I would expect it should be finalized by now, if not very, very soon. Again, the season starts in like January and it's October. This is like 2 or 3 months away. But apparently, you know, there are still some things going on that they're trying to figure out. But to me, this is very, very strange. And when I saw this, and when a lot of other people saw this, you know, they were still being pretty hopeful, being like, oh, well, maybe they're moving to the weekdays so they'll have more times to, you know, do like best of threes or best of twos or something like that. Or maybe they'll be doing the weekdays and the weekends, or you know, maybe this has some positive kind of spin or swing or whatever on it. And that just does not seem to be the case. It does not seem like, at least as of today, that we're going to be getting best of twos or best of threes or anything like that in 2023. And it doesn't seem like we're also going to be getting games on weekends. It seems like the LCS might potentially just be moving to weekday slots. Now, you might be wondering why the heck they're doing this. And the speculation from a lot of people right now is that they're doing this to focus on Valorant, because there is the new Valorant North American Partnership League that is also going to be taking place in Los Angeles, I believe even at the same studio in LA, which I think is a big reason, or at least a contributing factor for this whole thing, is that, hey, they're all taking place out of the same studio, you know, like, we can't all be here on the same days at the same times or whatever, and we have this shiny new toy in Valorant that has actually been performing pretty well across the world and in North America especially, and we have this like old geezer League of Legends who, yes, it is still doing very, very well, but hey, maybe the future's not as bright, maybe we can get stagnant with this a bit. And in League of Legends, a lot of the major players are out east, with China and Korea, you know, absolutely eating this stuff up, and North America, at least relatively, not being as focused or as interested in League of Legends, especially with the LCS viewership kind of dropping the past couple of years. Alejandro, in his article, he does talk about, you know, what exactly is going on from his perspective, or at least what he's hearing. He says, according to multiple sources, Riot Games is expecting to change LCS game days to weekdays. LCS has been played on weekends for several years. Normally, it used to be played on Saturday and Sunday. With this change, everything points to Wednesday and Thursday. I mean, we even had some times where, you know, Friday games would happen and stuff like that, which is still at least like a half of a weekend day. The LCS teams have already been informed of those plans. However, Riot Games concluded these are the plans they have in mind. It will not be official until the LCS schedule is sent to the teams. Maybe this is Riot just trying to like float this idea out to the fans and see how they react to it. But I think that would be strange because I don't think there's any way, you know, you could expect anything except the response that they've gotten from the fans so far. All signs point to the Valorant League of America remaining on weekends, so it would be a way of not overlapping both North American competitions. Although sources close to Blix would not claim that there's any relation to the decision, which is funny. For the time being, no change of game days is expected in the LOL European LEC, which again, I don't know, kind of makes things weird. It's like, hey, the LEC's still been doing pretty good the last couple of years. They don't want to take the viewership away from it by moving it to the weekdays or something like that. And over in Europe, I don't know exactly how big Valorant is. I don't know if it's been as big as it has been in NA so far. For the time being, no change of game days expected in the LEC. In addition to the schedule change, more changes are expected to be in the competitive LOL, but we'll inform about them when we know for sure. Now, we have heard about other changes potentially coming to scheduling, formatting, all all that kind of stuff in the LEC and LCS. So hopefully some more of these changes will be positive ones. But for now, this just seems very, very bad. And so far, the fan reaction has been very, very bad. Angie replied to this tweet, and she said, "Some of us have full-time jobs and cannot attend the studio if the games are moved to midweek. Not to mention those watching online probably can't catch the games because they're in school or working. This is not a good change for League if true." And a lot of people's response has been this: yeah, the priorities are just getting shifted to VCT, which is Valorant. Didn't expect Riot to accelerate the LCS's death. And this is a big concern. Again, in a climate where we are already seeing the LCS's viewership dropping year over year, and it's pretty much, expected to, at best, stagnate in 2023 and maybe at worst go down even more. So if we're already expecting a viewership drop, and then we're also moving the games from weekends when everyone is available and free and able to do what they want with their free time, which, hey, for some people it's going to be watch League of Legends all day, to a weekday where people aren't going to get to do whatever they want to do. Even some people who would maybe want to watch League of Legends have to work or have just more responsibilities overall and less free time. We're going to see another viewership drop there. Is at least the expectation. Again, maybe Riot has some freaking 5-head strategy for how weekdays are going to be better. Or maybe they have some model telling them that this is going to be a positive change or anything like that. But again, I don't assume that is the case. I just assume a lot of people are down on the LCS right now. Yeah, they're going all in on this Valorant thing and seeing what can happen and hoping that the LCS will continue to be at least, somewhat relevant. Another really, really big way this is going to impact the LCS is that once upon a time when the LCS was doing really, really well, it would get a lot of European viewership. The LCS back in the day, in the NALCS days, was the thing. NALCS was bigger, better, more exciting, cooler, more popular, had more popular players than the EULCS. The EULCS was really the little brother to the NALCS in really every way, and even European fans would tune in to the NALCS. Then all of a sudden, the LEC or the EULCS, whatever you want to call it, they started to get better. Their players got better. Their teams got better. Their broadcast leveled up. And then we start to see the European fans watch less and less of the NALCS, but still there is some European viewership in the North American leagues, just for people who are fans of, English-speaking League of Legends leagues. But now, during the weekdays, when it's going to be weekday nights where people have work the next day, and it's going to be very, very late in Europe, whether it's like, I don't know, it's probably going to be, I don't know the exact time zones, but I know they're obviously a couple hours ahead of us, so it's going to be like 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. It's going to be like us watching Worlds when the stuff's over there. It's like really, really hard to watch live. We're going to be losing some NA viewership for sure, and then probably all of the European viewership. And maybe in some ways that'll be good because maybe LCS sponsorships and partners and sponsors and stuff want to advertise to the North American audiences and not the European audiences, especially for a lot of these NA brands. But it's for sure going to make the numbers look, I don't know, like terribly worse, but probably some amount of significantly worse because, again, I do believe there still are some Europeans watching this overall. And to me, this is just a very, very concerning time. I talked about this a little bit on Twitter, but I think anyone who's, especially me, I've been doing content creation for the past couple of years, hoping to build, this thing bigger and bigger and better and make more money and build a career and stuff out of it. I think anyone putting all their eggs in the League of Legends esports basket, especially in the English-speaking world, especially in North America, needs to be very, very careful. And part of me just wonders over the past couple of years if I had done something different, if I had focused on my finance channel, or if I had focused on Pokemon, or if I had focused on even Valorant once it came out, or mixed martial arts or whatever, and I had, covered them with the intensity and grind that I've covered League of Legends over the past 2.5 years. How much bigger or smaller my channel would be right now, but also how much more exciting the future would be for my content and career and everything, because it just seems to me that from a realistic perspective, all the signs for North American League of Legends, LCS, are just kind of pointing down really, really drastically. And it is sad because, this has been a big part of mine and a lot of your guys' life for the past, 8, 9, 10, 11, however many years at this point. We've loved this thing, but it does seem that we are becoming an increasingly minority in North America. And that's unfortunate because with how things work, and especially with how the economics of all these things are, we need it to grow year over year over year. And once you stagnate, once you slow down, and once you start declining, you are not seen as valuable anymore. So on some ends, I don't blame Riot. Again, people are going to say, hey, they could have done things differently. They should have done things differently, and they should still do things differently now to try and revive this thing, but also at the same time, Riot has to make decisions based on what they think is best for their future. And I don't know. All the signs really, at least in my opinion, are pointing towards Valorant being the new shiny toy and Valorant being the new wave. And I just wonder, what is viewership going to look like this year? How low is it going to go? How bad is it going to be? What is that going to mean? And what does the future for League of Legends and LOL Esports, especially in the West, have in store? And then if things do get majorly impacted in the West, that could potentially affect things in the East as well. We've seen, I think, games get dominated by the East before, and they're just never the same. They're not as popular. You really do need the whole world in these economic ecosystems, especially the United States, who is still very, very valuable in terms of, money and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Just a really, really crazy change. I don't know. It does seem like Riot is going to be going to a model of only showing NA games during the weekdays. And it sucks because, who's going to watch Dignitas versus Immortals at 6 p.m. on Wednesday? I don't know. Not very many people are watching on the weekends, of course, obviously, but I think even less so are going to do it then. So I don't know. Just a weird time right now. It does really make me reflect and think about what the future has in store for me, not only as a content creator and in this potential career line, but also as a fan of everything in general, too. And it just makes me think about what I want to do and what I should do going forward. So I don't know, kind of a weird, disappointing, scary, sad topic to cover today, but did want to get this all out to you guys. And if you guys have any ideas about how this could potentially be a positive change, or given some of your thoughts and opinions about that, I don't know. I'd love to hear it, but that's it. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. Peace.